record this. Forgive me just a second, guys. I got to back up. We're talking about creating a funnel of dream clients. I forgot to record. I'm trying to record my sessions these days. Okay. So these are the books that I'm reading that are really shaping my thinking. Okay. And you're going to see me talk about where I'm taking the company website. I'm going to talk about what I do with my own marketing, because I kind of market in two different ways. I market to try to create clients that I can share for you guys, and I try to recruit more agents. Although I'll tell you, the recruiting it's not as strong. More and more, my focus is helping the agents to do more business. Because even as a business person, forget the fact that I absolutely like you guys, okay? But in a business model, doesn't it make more sense for me to help you guys make more money, and therefore I make more money? As opposed to if I recruit somebody, which is part of the positive growth of the company, that person then has to be trained and brought up to speed and filtered into our systems, and then I help them make more money. So you are the most immediate, fastest reward that I, as a broker, can feel an impact upon my pocketbook. And don't get me wrong, I love you all, but I got bills too. So finding this mutual symbiotic kind of flow of how it can all work to everybody's most positive reward is best. And while you are my client, your clients are also my client, and your clients are your clients. But so the more I can help you to do better at your jobs, and the more that your clients feel the love, okay, and feel that reward of getting that dream house of theirs, the more your business builds, the more my business builds, the more everybody does. And hopefully a little bit more money in our pockets does buy us a little bit more happiness. So let's move on here and let's talk about a few things. This is a very important thought, and I need everybody to buy into this. Okay, we are not trying to create a single sale. We are trying to create a stream of steady clients that will deliver hundreds or thousands of sales cycle relationships. And there's a couple of key words in there. That word relationships at the end, and steady stream, okay, of clients. Those are things that we all should want. Because if we can effectively become real estate marketers, you'll end up with more people in front of you. And even if you have a lousy closing percentage, which I don't think any of you do, if you have more people in front of you, the more deals you'll close, right? I mean, that's the first step of working your way towards a sale. You have to find a client, you have to do your meet and greet, you have to do a little discovery, then you have to find out a property for them, you have to take them out and show them to them. Then you got to bullet it down, because selling real estate is a process of elimination. And that's okay, because usually we only have one house these days that's available that even fits their criteria. So here it is. That's a little real estate joke right now. But so you do that there, and then you land them on a home and you close them and you go through escrow, and then you have the follow-up. And I'll tell you, the follow-up is what I'm going to call your second funnel of dream clients, and it is an important one. But right now we're going to deal with the first funnel, and it's going to deal with marketing yourself through several different mediums so you can get more of those dream clients. Now, one of the mediums that we have coming on board soon, and I really want to get you guys thinking along this way so you can see how your efforts can dovetail in with the company efforts. Okay, I'm doing a revamp on the company website, and these are the most recent mock-ups of what it's going to look like. Now, let's focus on this one right here in the middle, the agent profile, because I could look at the, whoops, did I do that right? Yeah, I could look at the home page, which is over here on the left, okay, or we could look over here on the right-hand side, okay, which is the agent's body of page. And I hope you see a little bit more modern kind of look to this. It's what I'm going for with this. We're trying to get totally woke, okay, and into the 21st century here. Hey, a 55-year-old guy using a millennial term there. So what I brought up a few things in the past that are going to start building on the concepts here that I'm presenting to you now. Lifestyle pictures. Okay, you've heard me talk about that. This one here is Francisco and Pamela, okay, two new agents. I just think it's a great, fun picture of them. It's professional, it's fun, it makes them look interesting, okay? And so I used it on this agent profile page right here. Then we have a bio, okay, like we do on every other page that we do about ourselves. And we're going to talk a little bit more here in a bit about the words and phrases that we use in our bio, okay, in order to help us attract those dream clients. And then as we get down here more into the body of it, notice that I've got stuff like testimonial video. I've got check out your website, see you on remax.com. Okay, definitely we want your sales and listings to float in here, but I also want them to be able to contact you on your email, and it's not on here right now. This is one of the things I'm going to change with our web designer, but there needs to be your phone number with like almost like a text box so they can reach out to you or call you just by clicking something on the website. Because realize like 50 or 60% of shoppers are now on a phone. While I'm showing you this on a website, this will also be phone compatible. And we've got to have it linked into those sorts of things. You know, they did a call now button, so good. So they do have something. So if this were on the phone, somebody could click that call now and they would instantly be able to call Francisco and Pamela. I also got places for videos on here. And more, I'll tell you, you guys got to start coming up with some videos about who you are, the homes you're selling, why you're in real estate. You can even talk about a video of nothing but your dream client. Okay, but whatever it is, your future buyers and sellers need to be able to hear your voice and see you move so they can feel like they get to know you. Like reading a good book. When the author describes the main character or the villain or the background character or the fifth business or whatever it is, okay, in the book, when they give that description of that character, you get a mental hook. And you start to either love or hate that character based on that mental hook. Well, we got to get rid of the people that are difficult clients. And by you putting yourself out there and talking on a video for 2 to 5 minutes about what it is you do and why you do it and how you do it, you will eliminate, this is the first strongest step, you will eliminate the people who's like, well, I never do business with her or him. I can't believe it. Next. But that's okay, because what will happen is the people that say, wow, they seem pretty interesting. You know, they're not that good looking, but I think that he looks like a fun guy. You know, that sort of comments, okay, that I'm making right there, or a slight chuckle in their voice as they're watching, like they're kind of silly, but you know, I like them. That helps the people that love you start off on the first phone call. It's the number one thing I can tell you is that by making videos, you will start to find your dream clients faster. The number two thing is merging it all into cohesive strategy. Okay, because YouTube is one facet and it's a strong facet, but what I'm trying to show you here is multiple ways to market yourself. Our website is one. Now, moving over here to the home page, what's going on here? There we go. And this is something that we'll play in and we'll talk about later. But notice that on the home page, I've got an agent spotlight. I've got recent articles. I've got a video down here. I'm using one of mine now. And honestly, there's going to be another row or two of stuff here. This is not nearly enough information for what I want. Our new website is going to be entirely data-driven. And we're going to have keywords and phrases and photos and videos and PDFs and podcasts and just everything else that you can think, all geared with very specific titles and search terms, identifying them so that when people search Coachella Valley real estate, whether it's Rancho Mirage, golf club condos, Palm Desert tennis homes, Palm Springs mid-century moderns, 55 plus communities, retirement homes, whatever it is, best school districts. We want them to land on our page, first off, organically. So the goal is, can we hit definitely in the top 20, but where I'm really shooting for is the top 10. It might take me a year to get it all the way there. But as we float higher and higher in the search engines over the next year or two, it's going to make a huge impact, and we're going to get more leads. Now, those leads that click on my links, I give back to you, but I charge an extra 25% on those, right? So if you don't want to do nothing, I'll tell you, I'm going to get more leads. But I'm also going to allow agents who actively market themselves and create links that I can put your video on here, or your PDF that you created, or your article about a certain home community, or whatever it is. Your listings, your activity, your Instagram account, your Facebook account, wherever it is that you're finding yourself actively marketing and you're doing a good job, I'm going to give you guys the chance to go on the home page or the search page or the agent spotlight or whatever it is. Or what if it was your client on the client success story that gave us a great testimonial? So the more you buy into this concept emotionally, I'm not looking for money for this. I'm looking to actually, because if they click your link or your story or your video, I'm not going to charge you 25%. As a reward for those of you that actively start pursuing this level of marketing in your business, and as I increase the ranking on this website, I will share the premium spots on this website with each of you. Can I get a hell yeah? I mean, if I were an agent, okay, in your guys' shoes, that would be huge. I'll tell you, I am purposefully choosing as a broker to try to make our website in the top 10 Google search rankings in the next year or two. And if that doesn't increase every one of our businesses, I don't know what does. That is the #1 search tool for home buyers, not only in the Coachella Valley, but in the world. Okay, and we're going to do that. Now, let's talk about how to find your dream clients, because that's what this is all about. So in this next hour or so, and I'll tell you, I've got a lot of slides here that I can get through. So I don't know if we'll get through them all. We'll see where our stopping point is about 10 a.m. because I know that you all got stuff to do today. So I'm going to do as much as I can, and wherever we end up next week, I will continue on. And this is going to become a theme of the next month or so that I'm going to be talking on. So today, I believe we can get through identifying exactly who your dream client is, discovering where they are congregating, and let's talk about how to work your way into those audiences. In the books that I'm reading, that's called Traffic That You Earn. And these are the free ways that you can try to attract the dream clients that you would like more of. Now, there are also ways to buy into those audiences, and that's called traffic you control. Okay, there is a third way, and this is where it gets into the refunneling, like when I talked about your follow-up with your buyers and sellers. Okay, and that's called traffic that you own. Okay, but before we get to the traffic that you own, we're going to try to get through those first 3 talking points they have there, identifying them, discovering where they are, and about how you work your way or buy your way into those audiences. Okay, and we'll be expanding on number 3 as we move forward. If we have time, we're going to talk about taking the traffic that you own and creating your personal A+ marketing list. Because the more that you can market to your clients that you've already sold, and only the clients that you sold that you love and love you, their referrals will more closely match the clients that you already love. Make sense? Can I see a couple of head nods? Okay. Now, did we lose it? Oh, no, we still got it. Okay. Okay, now, There's also, we can discuss how to plug that list into a follow-up funnel or infiltrate your Dream 100 and create your own show. What was this? Oh, I know what that was, Cam. Done something there to create a tab or marketing stream. Okay, we're probably not going to get into 4, 5, or 6. Okay, on this one here. There we go. Okay, so first let's talk about, and I hope you guys have a piece of paper. You're going to need it. Okay, this is going to be a bit of a study session, and there's not going to be a lot. But in order to really cement the ideas in, I'll tell you, you need to think about who is your dream client. Some people, when they do this, even look for pictures of what their dream client is, because a sharper mental image that you can create of what your dream client is, the more focused and easier that you will find it as we talk about ways to implement the recruiting, or let's not recruiting, the more sharpened and focused your attractability will become for your dream clients, your future dream clients. Did I say that okay? The more sharp and focused that you are with picturing, you having a mental image of who your dream clients are, the more attractive you will become to your future dream clients. There, I think I got it in a good sense. Okay, so first off, you got to be able to define them, make a mental image. Write down your characteristics, okay? And I'll give you an example. When Tracy and I were realtors out there just like you guys are right now, and I still do this a little, okay? Because if you guys notice, I'm selling between 12 and 20 deals a year, while at the same time trying to teach you guys. We used to do 50 plus. We have backed off our business because we see a better long-term strategy, okay, for us by becoming the broker and teaching you. And the more I can make that my focus, I'll tell you, the less I'm willing to sell and the more referrals I'll give, because I'm going to keep attracting clients. That is going to be my job no matter what role I'm playing in this brokerage and in my relationship with you. The question is, do I get you selling enough so I can sell less and give you even more rewards so that you can sell more? You see how it's that never-ending chain there? Kind of like the never-ending story. Okay, so write down some of your key things about your client. For me, I'll tell you, for the last 12 years or so, okay, that I've been actively working the California real estate market, the top profile of my most commonly sold and easiest sold and most pleasant sale for me was a couple that was either at or near retirement. So for me, they would generally be 45 and above. It would be a couple. Oftentimes they were Caucasian, although I did sell a significant subcategory of Hispanic with a third category of Asian, okay, that I would sell. Half of my clients were Canadian, half of them were American. They were buying homes, usually $200,000 to $500,000, and it was primarily seasonal vacation homes. Now, as the VRBO and Airbnb market crept up, that became a significant subset of my typical buyers that I had. And then at some point in my life, I started switching and doing sellers. And my sellers were more significantly American, more with a secondary of Canadian, okay, that were oftentimes taking advantage of their equity growth, okay, in their properties. And maybe about half the time we're moving out of the Coachella Valley. So oftentimes they were either downsizing or upsizing here in the desert, but half of the people, no matter what they were doing here in the desert, half of my clients were moving outside the desert, or they were Canadians taking advantage of the equity they've grown in their home and the dollar exchange value disparity where they could profit from again, now that they were selling their homes. So for me, that's, I could write that out, okay? And I could see two significant dream client cases, whether they're Canadian or American, whether they're buyers or sellers, I might be able to fill 4 boxes, okay, and have some dream clients there. You guys should, if you can't do it all right now, you should start this list right now and draw little boxes around them. Okay, so you can separate. Yeah, that is one type of client. I've sold a lot. This is another type of client. I seem to, because you think about your top 2 or 5 or 10 or 20, because some of you might have like 50, dream clients. If you really took the time and looked through your past business, and usually your dream clients are going to be the ones that you have their full phone numbers, husband, wife, cell, home, business. You've got all their email addresses. You know their home address here in the desert, their home address elsewhere. You might even know a third home address somewhere else. You probably know the names of their kids, their dogs, their best friends. Your best clients, you're going to have your strongest connection with. Because if they're your worst client, you can name them, and you can name 2 or 3 qualities about them, but that's because you're trying to block them out of your head. Okay, I could tell you the name of my worst client, and he still follows me on Facebook, but I really don't respond to his comments when he makes them on there. And we want to get rid of those people. Okay, I never agreed with the concept. And I'll tell you, I worked for Marriott Corporation. I worked for a significant car dealership. Now I work in a way for Remax Corporate, this year. And some of these major corporations think the customer is always right, and you got to kowtow to whatever it is the customer wants. And I'll tell you, I think that's horse pucky. Now, we have to be nice. We have to be professional. But we are not a taxi service, okay? We give our time and our knowledge to the clients who respect us and will interact with us in a way that is reasonable and creating a sale. That was a little complicated, but did that all make sense to you guys? I'm not asking you to waste your time with the worst clients. Now, do I want you to follow up when I give you a lead 2, 3, 4, 5 times, okay, and make sure that it's really dead and not just make one effort and say, well, I emailed them and they didn't respond? Yeah, I do. But at some point in each of your marketing strategies or each of your sales strategies, you have already fired a client. I'll tell you, and that's okay. Because at least it's okay if you're spending a significant amount of your time towards trying to attract your dream clients so you can fill your funnel. I fired a client this past week. I had a lady, and I went ahead and got a phone call on one of my listings, and I thought, I can fit her into my week, and it's tough. Oftentimes I give the listings on my own leads over to other agents and say, you go show them. If they like the house, bring me an offer. Okay, I've done that, and I can see a couple of you nodding heads out there. You've gotten those leads. Okay, but this one here, early in the conversation, while I was still trying to determine what to do with her, she says to me, I've got another agent, but he can't take me out this weekend. Will you show me the home? And I said, no. And she was like, what? And I'm like, no, if you have another agent, I don't want to step on that agent's toes, first off, and ruin your relationship, because I'll tell you, I'm going to try to get you as a client if you have me show you that home. Okay? But secondly, my time is valuable. And why would I give up half of my deserved commission if I'm the procuring cause of you liking that home to somebody else that you can just say, do the paperwork for me? I said, I'm not in for that. Now, if you want me to show you the home, I will do it, but you've got to agree that I'm your agent, at least on that home. Is that fair? And I'll tell you, she was baffled. She was like, what? I mean, that I would come back at her that strong until no, I'm not just going to. And it was even my listing. And I'm not going to tell her that I'm going to show it to her and then just hand her over to some other agent. I said, if you want to, it's okay. It's not flying off the shelf. It'll probably still be here Monday. Have your agent bring you Monday. I'll set up the appointment. And she was like, well, I really want to go this weekend. I really want to do that. Okay. I ended up taking her to the house. She refused to talk to me the entire time, wouldn't answer a single question, was just really tight-lipped and rude. And we were supposed to go see one other home on the block. I went ahead and told her early on in the conversation. She said, will you show me that one too? And I said, okay, I will. But when we got there, she was so rude and mean. She goes, well, can we go see the other home now? And I said, nope, I'm done. Why don't you and your possessive attitude and your protectiveness find your agent and have him show you the homes that you want? Thank you very much for your time. Feel welcome to present an offer. And I stood there until she quit looking at me, and then I locked the door behind her. So it's okay to fire clients, but you only want to do it if you are actively trying to pursue a marketing stream of creating new clients to fill your trough with the people that you really want. And hopefully you can deal less with the people like that lady I dealt with this past week and more of the dream clients you've already had. Because that's what we do. And that's how life gets better. So you've got to think about, you've got to write them down, make a mental image, write down their characteristics, what's their personality, and then what do they want from you? And I'll tell you, they don't just want a house. They want a dream house. Like you want a dream client, they want a dream house. And you have to deliver before you ever get that first phone call, before you ever get that first email, before you ever get a Remax lead on your phone, before you ever get a Zillow lead, before ever how you are generating your leads. You've got to convince them why they want to do business with you. And you got to think of that. So now we've already thought about who they are that we really want to ask you this question, right? Because we want your dream clients to ask you this question. The other ones will happen. Not everything's going to be a bullseye. Okay, as we build this target, think about like an archery target. You've got the outside is it red, and then you got white, and then you got yellow, and then you got white, and then you got green, and then you got white, and then you got the red bullseye, right? So some of them are going to be on the outside. We want to ignore the ones that can't even hit the target, but the more and more that we can concentrate them to that bullseye and still get as many shots as we need to hit the bullseye and fill our calendars with our dream clients. That should be our goal in our marketing efforts. Now, think about the clients that you just wrote down that were your dream clients and your future ones that are going to mirror that. And I'll tell you, every shopper, whether they're looking to list or buy, okay, or if they're going to give you a referral, okay, that wants to list or buy, they all have three motivating factors. Not three motivating factors, okay? These are the motivating factors that drive every person through every significant decision of their life. And I'll guarantee you, your spouse or your future spouse will look at you through the lens of these three items. At the top is wealth. And I'm not saying your spouse was a money grabber or a gold digger, okay? But having a lifestyle of security, okay, with whatever wealth that the two of you can generate as a couple was a very real factor in them choosing you as a spouse. Health, okay? Everybody wants to live a long and healthy life, okay? And many people, especially with home buyers, are moving to the Coachella Valley because the perception of healthy lifestyle is real. Whether they're vacationing here or whether they're moving here on a permanent basis, every one of them, health is a significant factor. And lastly, and I shouldn't say lastly, but equally important, because all three of these are actually a mix of depending on where the people are, is relationships. I know, like, literally, I remember I sold a home out at Windy Point for this one guy. So this was a listing that I got. I like that being over here more. There we go. Okay, sorry, I didn't want to improve my presentation look there just a hair while I was doing this. I remember I sold a home in Windy Point, and this is probably 5 or 6 years ago, okay, that I did this. And the guy, it was a single guy. He'd be a Trump lover today. He loved watching Fox News, so those parts of us didn't connect at all. But we did connect on the fact that he had a need that I could appreciate. Okay, and that was he had moved out to the desert 10 or 12 years earlier, bought this house, and he was now about 50 to 55, early 50s, somewhere in there. He had bought the house when he was at 40 years old, because at 40 years old, he thought moving out here to the desert, he could find some beautiful California woman that would appreciate him for the man that he is. And he would have the ideal home that would be attractive for her. And unfortunately, it didn't work. And he was a decent guy. Okay. I mean, like I said, our politics didn't align, but he did appear to be a pretty ethical guy. He was a hardworking guy. He wasn't horrible looking, although I would admit that he wasn't the most handsome man. And that's why he invested in the home. He thought that would counterbalance everything. So he thought that he could have wealth and a good relationship, and that would give him a healthy lifestyle, and those would become appealing features in his quest for a good relationship here in the desert. It didn't work out. I'll tell you, 12 years later, he was still a single guy living in that home. And so his key motivator was relationships. And on that there, he wanted to move back home to Michigan because he still had a lot of family there, and he thought his family could hook him up with a gal back home in his home state. And his fear, because we're going to talk about fears, was that his home still had not regained the value of when he bought it in like 2005. And here we are in about 2015 or 16 trying to sell it, and he was underwater. Or near, he was about break even, a little over, a little under, depending on what we got for the home. And so I convinced him to list with me, and he tried to grind me on my commission. And instead I said, look, instead of grinding me on my commission down, now give me a chance to sell it. And I'll guarantee you, you're going to be a part of the decision. If we have to address my commission later on in it, I will willingly address it because I understand what your needs and wants are. But if you will write on paper at 6%, so we can offer the other agent 3% and be fair. If we reach that point and it's a difference in you getting home, I will do something. I'm not going to promise everything. He had a figure in his head. He needed $10,000 in his pocket after selling his home so he could go back to Michigan and at least rent a place and still have money to set himself up, move his furniture, do everything else that had to be done. So he wanted $10,000, and I'll tell you, in his alignment of what he owed on that home, what it was selling for, it was not a great opportunity for him. But using these three factors, a degree of wealth, a degree of relationship, and he wanted to do it while he was young and healthy enough that he still had a chance to attract a woman. So we made a deal. Your clients that you have out there, your dream clients, they are thinking these three things. And when you write your bio, you should be thinking about these three things and what you've seen in your best clients that you've had. And that should be written into your biography somehow. I've helped multiple people upgrade their house, even at times if they were downgrading their home so they could be more financially stable, so that they could live the lifestyle that they want. And the Palm Springs area has a very healthy activity base for those of you who want to make this your home or second home. I find that with my clients, this creates a better relationship between husband and wife or between two spouses. And it creates a family, whether it's a modern American family or a traditional one, that appreciates their newfound position in life And I love it when I'm able to help them achieve their dream. You see what I did right there? I just verbalized about a one to two paragraph bio that you guys could write and put into your online bios. And wouldn't you love the agent, or not the agent, the client that reached out to you because they liked that? I mean, you might throw in your own style of homes, your own areas that you specialize in, or the neighborhoods or whatever else, but in your own words. And it's really good if you can do it in your own words. If you need me to take a look at your bios, I'll tell you, I'll do it. And I'll ask you questions about who are we trying to approach here so I can get it right in my head while I'm looking at your words. But that's the sort of bio that if you start with, you will attract the people that you want to attract and you want to spend more time for and you enjoy. And they will enjoy you more. And it's not so much a sales situation when you're dealing with people you love, correct? Or with people who love you. It's fun. When you have people that absolutely love you and appreciate you and what you bring to the table, to me, it doesn't feel like selling at that point. It becomes fun. And that's what this business should be. So you got core desires, okay? Health, wealth, and relationships. And people do one of two things when they do it. They either move away from pain or they move towards pleasure. And I'll tell you this in a very exact way, okay, with my own personal thing. When I was a single guy and I would go out to the nightclubs looking for a girl to dance with, take home, show to mom, or marry, okay, depending on where my attitude was that night, okay? The girls who met me did one of these two things. They either immediately didn't like me and moved away to the farthest side of the nightclub they could, okay? Or they talked to me, or they danced with me. It was one of those two things. When the music's so loud that you can barely talk to them, you look really nice, you know, when you can hardly do that, okay? You got like a one-sentence shot to see if they're going to dance with you, okay? But everybody in life does this. I'll tell you, on the first night that I met Tracy, she gave me the conversation, but at the end of the night, she ditched me when I went for the pin from the bartender. And if she hadn't followed up with me, we wouldn't be the couple we are today. So at least I got her to move towards pleasure enough that I really got a chance to tell her my story. And we're going to talk more about telling your story. But everybody that you talk to as a client is either moving away from pain or towards pleasure. I can't afford the house I'm in. I need something with a lower payment. My landlord is selling the house. I need to rent a new one. I'm moving towards pleasure. My home equity has gone so much, I want to take advantage of it and reinvest. Whatever it is, there are two sides to every coin, right? And you need to start picking up on that with people so that as you're talking to them, whether it's in your bios or your profiles, or when it finally becomes an email or a phone call, you can use this. What are they moving towards? What are they moving to? And you drop these little nuggets, okay, into your conversations. Because think about this, when you've experienced your best sales experience, okay, and I can tell you one about a time that I bought a sofa, okay, with a friend of mine. He brought me along. My friends all think I'm a really great salesman, or at least the ones that I think are my friends do. And they brought me to buy a sofa because for them that was a very expensive item, and they figured I'd be the right third baseman to help protect them from some other predatory salesman that was going to take advantage of them, okay? That old song and dance, that old chestnut, okay? So anyways, I helped them through that. My point is here, they're moving away from pain or towards pleasure. Let me come over here a little, zoom up some of these. Okay. So this is an exercise I need you to do. You took on a piece of paper and you wrote down a profile or two of customers. And maybe it was just 2 or 3 notes that you jotted down, because I know this is new concept for you. I'm reading a book, okay? I'm giving you guys the Reader's Digest version for those of you old enough to remember the Reader's Digest version of stories. Okay, right now I'm shortcutting for you. Maybe what were those books in high school when you didn't want to read Tom Sawyer, but you read the little Cliff Notes? Okay, I'm giving you the Cliff Note version. I'm giving you the Wikipedia page version of the Gettysburg Address. Okay, so let's modernize that same statement for everybody of all generations. Okay, here. Under one of those profiles of your dream client, write down as many things as you can about why that client, and you want to keep it specific to that client, might be moving away from pain. And I'll tell you, it's important that you do this. I have done this in my book. Let me see if I did it here. Just so you can see. I did it. Okay, I wrote it right into the book. When I buy these books, I sometimes go ahead and just use them as if they're a school textbook. Okay, and I write notes in them. And then when I go back to revisit, I can remember what clicked in my head, okay, when I did it. But write down 2, 3, 5, 6. You can write down 10, whatever it is. Because I'll tell you, if you really thought about this over and over, you could eventually grow this list to about 20 for most of your clients. There might be a top 2 or 3 for every client, and we want to give those special attention. But most people are complex. Would you agree? Most people have more than one motivating factor. And what we're trying to do here is we're trying to create that aha moment that our clients have and that I know you've had in the past when you've experienced an article through online, a book on motivation, a salesman's moment, a time that you made a new friend. In all of those instances, if you made a really good connection, you thought, man, this person, this article, this book, this movie, this motivator, they really get me. Can you think of a time in your life that happened? Well, what we're trying to do here is to recreate that same aha moment for your future clients. And the more that you can understand who that client is, what they think of, what they look like, what is their profile of them, the more that you can create your profile to address their motivating core desires of health, wealth, and relationship, and whether or not they're moving away or towards a solution for those things. The better you can write your profile, the better you can make your videos, the better you can choose your photograph that you want to represent you to attract that client. Making sense? Okay, now I'm going to ask 1 or 2 people here. Can I get anybody to say that they can give us a brief synopsis of their dream client they would like to attract one or more of, and a couple of the things that they are trying to move away from pain? I'm going to ask for a little interaction here. Can I get anybody to raise a hand? Okay, I see Joan. There might have been somebody else there. Was there anybody else? Okay, because I'm looking for Arthur. Okay, so I'm going to go with Joan first and then Arthur. Joan, tell us about your dream client, a little bit about them, and then some of the pain that you may experience with them.
My dream client, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. You sound good.
Yes, is somebody who is looking to flip houses.
Okay.
My dream client is somebody that comes in and does not get caught up in the minutiae of, I don't like the color, or I really wish it had a different sink, or whatever. I'm looking for somebody that wants to buy a wreck at a terrific price. I go through the process with them of polishing it till it's a jewel, selling it. While they're doing that, finding them another one. That's been my favorite type of client in my 20 years. I've had 5 such clients. 3 of them became agents because I am so fabulous. They thought, this must be the greatest job because she's wonderful. 1 died and 1 got old and moved away. They have to have, for me, an understanding. Everybody wants to flip houses. Everybody wants to buy a house for $5 and sell it for $1 million. But they have to have a basic understanding of how much pain there's involved in doing that, dealing with the city, dealing with contractors, understanding what comps are. You can't really comp a dump of a house. You can't. You have to understand that when you're buying a house of such, what sold next door has nothing to do with your purchase price. It does with your eventual sales price, but not your purchase price at that moment. They have to be realistic about what sells. For instance, to buy a mid-century house and decide that there's no pool, or somebody filled in the pool and you're going to leave it like that and you're going to be a comp, that's not wise. They have to be willing to listen to the fact that I know what I'm doing and that I've done it before over and over and over. And I don't need necessarily their expertise, they need mine. I need their money and their business. They need to be in a relationship with me that I am going to lead them the right way. I'm not so interested really in one-offs. I do that, but I want to develop a client that I do over and over and over. They must understand that money is the least important part of the deal. You can always get money. You can't always get a deal. And they must understand the most important concept, and that is you make money when you buy, not when you sell. If you buy right, you do the right things, it will sell for the right price.
I understand that concept of you make money when you buy.
You make money when you buy, yes. Now, that is the ideal client. What was the other thing you wanted to ask me? Pain?
You did address some of it while you're in there, moving away from pain. A client like that, what would be the pain that they would be moving away from?
Career, finances. They want to be more comfortable. They want to, stake their claim in a particular area or in a particular type of property. My stock and trade has been and continues to be mid-century properties, single-family houses. I don't sell a great deal of investments per se. I do sell houses and help clients with finding houses that they use for vacation rentals, but not necessarily little apartment buildings. I moved away from that. That's a very difficult.
Can I suggest a pain? Because I know that type of client that you're describing, and I know you had that with Olga, who unfortunately passed away this past year under COVID. So I can understand you looking for a replacement client like that with her, because she was such a great client for you. Your client your dream client is a little bit like Jacob has been for me. Mm-hmm. And one thing that I see in Jacob that I think you saw, and you didn't verbalize this part, but you did such a good job with everything else, I'm just going to assert this one, is idleness is their enemy. They are a contractor entrepreneur who likes to have one or more properties going at all times.
That's right.
Because if they're not doing that, they're not using the essence of themselves to create the wealth and lifestyle that they enjoy.
Okay? Sorry, go ahead, Eric.
It's okay. No, that's enough. I got out most of what I want there. It's okay.
Okay, I got into real estate because I personally, my partner and I were flippers. And the ideal thing for us was to buy a house, get it fixed up, have it on the market. While that process was happening, was to get a second one. We have one on the market. We have a second one that we're just starting with, and I am rattling the bushes to find a third. So as one sells, the one that we're fixing gets to the sales thing, and then the other one comes in. And we did that for several years. We did 20 houses, and it was back in the good old days, but nevertheless, it's still the very same. The price, everybody emphasizes money, money, money. you know, I bought that. My brother-in-law bought a house 20 years ago for 140,000. Well, good for your brother-in-law. You know, 20 years ago, I was really a good-looking woman, but you know, that's not so today. But so my hair was blue, then it's pink now. So the money part, people get hung up on. Everybody is willing to lend money if they're going to get their money back. So agents get caught up on that too. The money is the least important part. It is a vital part, but it's the least important when you're making a deal.
I agree. I'm going to keep this on the focus of attracting more of those clients like that for you. And I appreciate your synopsis. Arthur, you go. Talk about your dream client.
I have a slightly different take. I believe you can create your own dream client. You can,
that's what we're doing.
By honesty, follow through, knowledge, and just a feel to make them realize that you're for real and you can help them and find their place. So I'm a believer that I can find a client I don't even know and turn them into a dream client just by how I work and how I do my business. And that seems to work for me. It's, so I'm a firm believer in creating a dream client.
What's the name of your client who lives in DHS? He sold one or two of his condos already. I'm trying to remember.
Don Clark.
Don Clark. Okay, Don Clark, to me, fits the best profile of the dream clients that I've seen you interact with on that there. Alan, with the house on Bogart, is actually a very similar client. Because I'll tell you, on both of those clients for you, single older men, okay, who own properties in Palm Springs that they're looking to sell. So I would say that is one type of client. You can do two wildly different price points, from a under $300,000 condo to a almost $2 million home on it. But as far as people goes, very similar. And I've seen you interact with a couple of, with several couples, okay, and you've done pretty good with them too. I haven't been with you as much and talked with them on the phone. You handle those sales on yourself. But I believe your honesty, okay, and integrity is true, and your clients love that about you, and that needs to be a part of your profile. But I bet you could find a little more demographic of the types of people who appreciate that about you more often.
It's true. You got to go with your strengths in any type of sales. And, obviously my strengths is my social skills. I'm not going to be teaching any computer classes in this lifetime. So you go with your strengths, you go what's got you where you are, and try to utilize that in any level of business or life. Just go with who you are and go with your strengths, and you'll be okay.
I agree. And I think once open houses open up again, you're going to see a personal surge, because I think that kind of human interaction for you is one of your best marketing strategies.
Open houses have been a blessing, because it's just, I feel comfortable doing it. I'm not in front of a laptop. It's me, and that's my strengths. And I can't wait for them to come available again. And that will really increase my business and a lot of other people's business. It's tough without them.
Okay, I want to finish this one or two more slides, and then we're probably going to call it quits today. It's about 9:45 right now, so we got about 15 minutes left before I start feeling like I've asked too much of your guys' time, but it'll also be a good stopping point to finish the beginning of this lesson. Okay, with it. With your same clients now that we talked about, write down a couple of key ideas about why they're moving towards pleasure. And usually it'll involve these same things of wealth, health, or relationship. Why are they looking for an agent that you can fit the bill of that agent? What's going on in their lives that they are moving towards wealth, health, or pleasure? And I know it's a little general, but as you do this more, you will get better and better. But I think even here, I'll tell you, I'm hearing excellent feedback. Okay, with those of you that are talking, and I bet I see a lot of people taking notes out there. And hopefully this lesson is the beginning or a doubling down on of one of your own aha moments, where it gives you food for thought that'll play into everything we do. Because just like how I can't turn around our website to where I want it to be in a day or a week or even a month, this is like a 2-year project for me. And I believe in the first year, I'm going to make significant, headway on it. I think by June, you guys will see an active website up and running. But what I want that website to be is going to take me till the end of the year or beyond. Okay. And I think even with what I get up and going in June, there's going to be people in the real estate business that are going to see it as a new model of what's going to be done with websites. And the way you can interact with it will begin to have an impact at that point. Until then, the impact of what I'm trying to get you to do here will be affected through your social media, through your biographies, through your profiles, things like that. But eventually it'll grow to even more, and we'll talk about that. Now, can anybody out there who did not get called on the first time, can I get at least one person who could tell me about moving towards pleasure with their dream client? Somebody, anybody? Okay, I'm going to call on somebody. I'm going to call on Francisco. Francisco, I saw you jotting down some notes. Please share with us a little bit of your thoughts about your dream client and what you can think about them in this regard.
Well, I think the dream client is, for me, someone that's looking to upgrade their house, to sell their house and get something bigger. A local business owner, someone that's self-driven. They seek, I guess, the pleasure. To me, they want results. They want the results. They don't want to be sold, so they're drawn to the honesty, to my ability to eliminate the risk in their sale or purchase. And they don't want to miss out. They see what you're doing. They see that you're helping others, and that feeling like, hey, I don't want to miss out on this opportunity or the timing of the market. And at the end, I think they're drawn to peace of mind. They just kind of want to say, here you go. You do they trust you to do the job, and they want as little interaction as possible. And when you take charge, I guess it gives them that pleasure. They're just happy. And when that's achieved, then that's always gotten me a really good referral. And sometimes these are clients that people say that, they're really tough, they're real picky. But if you do it right, it's actually been a very positive experience. So I don't know if I covered, but that's all I wrote down.
You wrote down some great key words there in what you did. And I'm going to touch on those here as I do some feedback here. And I'll tell you, first off, your client, your dream client, was nothing like Jones and nothing like Arthur's. Okay, and that's great, because as a company, we're going to attract so many types of people that as I learn all of your personality traits and what you work best with, I'd love it if I could give you the type of client that you have a 90% close rate, and there's enough of that you and I have a great relationship, and I can feel that the leads that I give out are going to buy a house. Okay, I mean, it's not about the money, and I say that a lot, and it's not. But we are also a business. Okay, this is not a hobby we're doing of selling real estate. Each one of you have needs, and you deserve to be able to fill your time with fun, energetic people in a profitable lifestyle to deliver you the lifestyle that you want. Okay, I liked what you wrote down there, Francisco, because I personally thought, I don't know how you felt, but when I helped you write your bio about a week ago, I thought it wasn't one of my best bios that I ever wrote. Okay, I did. And yet what you mentioned today somehow should get incorporated into that. Okay, and I heard a couple phrases. You like a client who is self-driven. And while you didn't say entrepreneur, you said like small businessman or a local business or something like that. And
Yeah.
maybe it's like business-minded, okay, might be a phrase that can go in there, but self-driven entrepreneur, small business person, somebody who doesn't like to be sold, but wants results. I heard you say that in there too. And you ended with it being a positive experience and wrapped that into it. And there was one or two others in there. I was writing down as fast as I could while you were writing, because I was seeing the vision of what your profile could become. And that's what we want to do. Because if you could get more people who like you and want those same things, while at the same time being courteous and respectful of who you are and what you bring to the table, because we don't want somebody who just wants results and doesn't give a rat's patootie about you. We want somebody who likes you, likes Pamela, appreciates the same type of family and faith values, and can see the vision of what having a relationship with you can be like. And I'll tell you, it's worth it if you spend some time and you try to work some of those in, and with your bio, it's probably worth a week or two working that into all those other websites other than just your RE/MAX bio, so it gets onto all of them. Those were some great words, okay? And those are the sorts of pleasure that people are moving towards. Now that we know who our clients are and what motivates them, how do we attract them, right? And I've talked some on this as we've gone through this. And I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to call on Rosa and Peggy and Amato and Blair and whoever user is. Maybe that's Blair. Sometimes he goes on to another computer. But this is ultimately what we're looking to do. So now that we know who they are and what motivates them, how do we attract them? Okay. And I'm just going to touch on a couple more slides here. We're at 4 minutes to 10 on my clock, but I showed each one of you this diagram when you hired on with me, right? Can I see a couple of head shakes? You all remember seeing this here? Okay, yeah, okay. And I've used this as a basis for my thought development and my teaching, okay, over the last 4 years. I developed this like in the first couple of months being the broker at RE/MAX Desert Properties, and it's still a very good example of the different pillars of how you would do marketing and how you would start with them. And I always start on the left-hand side. These are the things that a nice summary of what you get through RE/MAX. And that RE/MAX profile is one of your top things that you get. And it has a real impact. I know Rosa this past week, and I got to tell you, I'm tooting her horn as much as I'm tooting mine here, because when I sit down with each one of you, and I do this with every single person, somewhere in your first week of coming on board, we sit down and we build a profile. And I really try to make sure that you're hooked in to all the lead generation portion of RE/MAX. You got a nice picture, you got a good biography, you've got your service areas, you've got your IDX link, working. I try to do that for everybody. So when you start off, that pillar is as secure as it can be. Rosa got a agent-to-agent corporate lead through RE/MAX.com. Rosa, tell us briefly about that. Where was that agent from, and what was the client like?
There, can you hear me?
Yes, yeah. I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, so I had just finished my profile with you. It was like my first week signing in with you guys. And the next Monday morning, I think I met you on a Friday or towards the end of the week. On Monday morning, I get a phone call from an agent in Kentucky that's seen my profile on RE/MAX and wanted to give me, their client is moving to Palm Springs. And so I was like, this is my first sale, my first client ever. So like, is this like for real? Like, I just couldn't believe it, So I called Raquel and I told her, are they trying to scam me? How will they scam me? Like, I couldn't believe it. But yeah, I, met with them. I talked to them on the phone, and, immediately I started looking for a condo for them. And right now we're under escrow, which,
you wrote an offer like in your first couple of days of being with them, didn't you? And it got accepted. So your first week, okay, of being an independent agent,
yes,
she got a deal through the RE/MAX site, a corporate lead, agent to agent. I'll tell you, that's how it's supposed to work. I wish I could say that for each and every one of you. I know you've all had some sort of leads that have come your way on that, but that's a great story, Rosa. And I'll tell you, She had a nice picture of herself. She wrote a nice bio of herself. She had all of her links activated on there, and it worked. And hopefully everybody gets 1 to 3 of those a year. Okay, that's how it should work. If we've taken, and especially if we've taken the time to make sure it's all worked and we've got a nice bio and we've got a nice picture, and hopefully, were they nice people and did they interact with you well? I mean,
yeah, I mean, everything has been great. Just, kind of, I'm trying to get used to working with people and different personalities. That's something I'm not super used to. But this has been super helpful. Like, as an agent, thinking that you always have to have, like, whatever comes to you, you have to take it. But this has been super helpful trying to figure it out. Who do I want to work with and who is going to be, my dream client too, like I'm looking for that as well.
I totally understand.
Yeah, this has been super helpful because like I said, I'm a new, as a new agent, this has been super helpful. I'm glad I made the time to log in.
Well, we're glad to have you aboard. We are.
Yeah.
Now, guys, look at these pillars again here. They got the red, the white, the blue, and the gray. Okay, and imagine that each one of these rectangles, okay, with something on them is a brick. Okay, and we're going to build your pyramid of business. Okay, with it. This is all the things. You'll find a couple of new bricks in there from when I originally took you guys on. And I want you to know, because RE/MAX has changed some of their tools, okay, that they offered, and they've added to it. And my knowledge of marketing has increased. So I want to share with you some new thoughts while keeping the best of the old. Okay, in here. Your RE/MAX.com profile, that should be the cornerstone of your business. Okay, and it's going to become even more so as we get more and more used to the boost system and how leads are generated through the RE/MAX.com website and how people Google search you and where you turn up. Your RE/MAX.com profile is usually your #1 Google link that gets ranked. If somebody were to search Peggy Long Realtor or Francisco Jalote Realtor or Joan Martin Realtor, if they did that, and I've told the story a million times, when you meet somebody and you have that good conversation at church or the supermarket or wherever you meet them, okay, that you give them your card and they say, okay, well, thank you, my husband and I will talk, whatever, we'll let you know, it ends up with something like that. If they were at all serious, right, they go home and do a Google search on you right then. And usually your RE/MAX.com profile will be the #1 ranked item that they will find on you. So that one needs to be your strongest. And that's due to the fact that RE/MAX Corporate spends a lot of money making sure their website ends up in the top rankings. And the benefit to you as an agent means that if somebody searches your name, and whether it's got Realtor or RE/MAX on it, that will usually be the first link. It's how that begins to tie together, okay, with all these efforts. But the Booge website, okay, is something that we probably want to pay some attention to in the near future. Your Booge profile is your RE/MAX.com profile, but before it was a profile that was done one way, and that's how I originally built it. But now your Booge website and profile, okay, can be enhanced. Your RE/MAX.com profile, which is basically, if you look here, RE/MAX Desert Properties.ca.com, which is kind of a long-winded name for a website, but it's what corporate RE/MAX makes me use, okay, for a website. There is going to be an upgraded profile page for you on that as I do this new website that's coming out. Right now, you're one on a page of people. We're going to give you your own page. And I have some real tools that's going to be on that. But these other things, I talked to you about realestate.com, homes.com, your super key, your car forums, realtor.com, truly.com, your local MLS profile, Zillow.com. These are all free. Okay, and you should have your profiles on there. And think about this new bio that I'm encouraging you to write, where it's geared towards your ideal client. Because we just went from 1 or 2 places that you are, maybe a third, to another 8 we're up to 10 or more places. And how many rankings does Google put in their Google search when somebody puts in a search word? How many results do you generally get? 10, right? Okay, they might do some paid ads, okay, that we have to compete with on there, but usually you get 10 results to a page. Well, right there, totally free, if somebody searched your name, they should get 10 results. And the instant impact on your clients is, wow, Rosa or Arthur or Peggy or Joan or whoever's out there, as the agent, they really are selling real estate. That is a mind blower. Most agents don't have that. After that, I look at social media, okay, and Google Business. Notice that I have at no point here encouraged you to spend money. Then we look at the REMAX company site. Again, should just be the same pictures, the same bio. And then after that, we look at something that's a little more time, your charity or your community organizations. And this could even be social groups of any type. And some of you might belong to organizations online, okay, that you're doing with this. But now we start looking at a greater time commitment. And then after that, we go up to where you're spending money. Did you have a personal website? Are you doing farming? Or are we doing paid advertising? And I'll tell you this one here.
Well, everybody gets a percentage of it. Everybody winds up putting their percentage rate for the bond, for the sewage.
Okay, I just muted them.
No, but it isn't very much. What they do is they
Amato, you need to mute yourself.
time. So it's a few hundred a month maybe.
What? How much you need to put for to get this?
So I'm trying to.
Know the price or?
Well,
He'll have to come back in. I just had to remove him. Okay. Okay, so this one here, I should probably give that a. Well, the e-newsletter, I'll tell you, is a core part of the business. Well, it's up there on the top right. It comes down to the refunneling, because once you finally attract these clients, you need a way to continue a relationship with them beyond the initial burst, whether or not it becomes a sale. Okay, they need to be in a way so that you can continually market to them. And they may not be a part of your social media groups. Okay, so they may not be seeing you there. But the e-newsletter is what's called refunneling, okay, so that people remain a part of your sphere. And then paid advertising, we'll talk about that as we move through these. But one last slide here, okay, and the reason why I bring this up, actually two last slides. The first one is this: be honest. You don't have to blurt this out. How much of this are you doing? One. You're doing one no matter what, Joan. You've got this REMAX profile. I made sure you're doing that one. Okay. But I'll tell you, honestly, most agents' marketing program looks like this. The typical agent, even the typical REMAX agent, is not doing this. Think how much more your business would be, and you don't have to attack it all at once. Pick a level here, and once you've gone through your, REMAX stuff that you have, if you'll then make sure that your free ones are up and going, and I've encouraged everybody to do this. Okay, this should be your first 2 to 14 days of being with REMAXDesertProperties.com. And I know that's not true of everybody, okay? But it should be. And I'll tell you, the people that have seen the most positive results did it. Because if your name right now is showing up once or twice or maybe 3 times when somebody does a Google search, and you got a few leads, okay, in the past out of that, how many more leads would you get if it was this. Even if it didn't include these top 2 tiers here, or the top 3. Maybe your charity and your community organization is your family. I'll tell you, I understand that. As a guy with 8 kids, it's hard for me to go join another organization because the needs of my kids is so much. So I get it. And yet I was doing 30 to 60 deals a year with Tracy. We were doing 50 to 60 as a couple. Okay, for it. Nothing cost you money from remaxdesertproperties-ca.com down. None of that costs money. I encourage you to take what we learned this week and to apply it to some of those. Okay, if you don't have this sheet, I will resend it to you as a PDF if you need that for a guide. But to take it from this and see how close can you get it to that over a month. Okay, and what I'm trying to get you to do here is to think about your clients, think about their needs and wants, maybe modify that bio a little bit, think about your picture that you're putting in, and then build that out to as many sites as you can. Because once we've done this, we're going to start talking about greater length storytelling that you're going to do in your marketing. We're going to start talking about ways that you can fit in better on the new company website. Okay, but the people that are going to get the best positions are not necessarily the top sellers. Believe it or not, they're going to be the people who put a real marketing strategy together for themselves that then I can highlight into the company site. And then in return, that should help you generate even more leads. You'll get more leads out of your efforts yourself because it'll be out there showing up in Google searches. But as I turn this website into one of the top and eventually the top local desert area real estate website, imagine what your return could be in addition to your other, what's it? The Lord helps those who help themselves, kind of thing. And not that I'm an overly religious guy, but I want to help those who help themselves. Okay. And we're going to talk about where your clients are congregating in the weeks ahead, what websites they are probably on, what tools we have already. And I'm going to work on this here a little bit more. This was, in essence, lesson 1 of creating a funnel of dream clients. I hope you guys found it informative today. I really try, okay, and I want to continue this discussion. There's a lot that goes into it. I have just given you guys, out of the book that I'm reading, probably about 1/3 of it, okay, and I'm about 1/2 or 2/3 of the way through myself and still working through it. And as I work through it, don't forget, I'm combining the best tips and tricks and tools that I'm learning and passing on to you. And this is very modern stuff. Traffic Secrets was published in late 2020. So that book is less than about 4 months old. It is literally some of the most advanced tools that people are using to increase their business. New Rules of Marketing and PR was out last summer. The Sales and Service one is a few years ago, but it was the same author, so I read it. So I'm really trying to pick current subject matters for the way the internet is behaving today and encouraging you to take the proper steps to increase your business and to increase what I call an internet presence. It's not just a single profile, because we are not trying to create a single sale. We are creating a stream of steady clients that will deliver hundreds or thousands of sales cycle relationships. Did we do okay today? Okay. Next Tuesday at 8:45, I will happily do another one of these, and I'm just going to continue on from the slides of where we left off. We will probably quickly begin here and then take it on from that. And I hope that some of you guys, if not all of you guys, have taken this and moved a little closer to that. You're welcome to call me for any one-on-one if you need help with any portion of this or anything at all, of course. But that's the direction I'm going to take our training sessions for the next month or so. Thank you for attending. Have a good day.
Thanks, Eric.
You're welcome, guys. Yes, you know, I let me handle questions one-on-one, Heather. I almost feel like I should do it, but we're so late right now. I didn't want to keep everybody. Thank you guys for coming. I'll talk to you all later. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Eric. Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good week. Bye.
Thank you for watching The Realtor Guy on YouTube. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more, please like and subscribe to this channel. We release new videos just about every week with helpful tips for real estate agents in the Palm Springs area and around the world. Thanks again for watching. I'm Eric Meeks, The Realtor Guy, signing off.